Many people love traveling and going on new adventures. It's always exciting visiting a new country and having new experiences. While it can be costly to travel, it doesn't have to be. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my top travel hacks so that you can save money on your next adventure. This video will be broken down into a few different categories such as flights, accommodation, and activities, so feel free to skip around the timestamps to save time. Let's dive in. My first travel hack on this list today is to book and plan in advance. By being organized well ahead of time, you could potentially save thousands of dollars on your flights and accommodation. We recently got back from our family holiday in Fiji and we booked this a year in advance. By booking this far in advance, we were able to save so much money on our flights and our accommodation. Travel hack number 2 on this list is to book and choose your days to travel wisely. By booking and flying on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, I've generally found that the flights on these days are a bit cheaper. It's also cheaper if you book outside of peak travel times, which are like your school holidays or public holidays, for example. Prices always seem to hike during these peak times, as generally more people have time off and prefer to travel and holiday at these times. Another thing to think about here is traveling during a country's off seasons as well. If you travel during a, say, wet season, the prices are generally cheaper on your accommodation and your flights here. Travel hack number 3 is to utilize those frequent flyer points. For our recent trip to Fiji, we were able to credit some of our available air points towards our flights, and this reduced the amount that we actually needed to front up in cash for our flights. Between my husband and I, we have one credit card, and it's an air points credit card, and we utilize this really well to pay for our bills and general expenses. We always make sure we pay it off in full each month, but it is a really good way to accumulate those air points. If you can manage a credit card well and ensure that you pay it off in full each month, then a rewards card that rewards you with air points can be really good to build up those air points to utilize towards paying for your flights. This is a really good way to save yourself some actual money and cash on your flights. My next travel hack on this list is to book yourself economy flights for your shorter flights that you're taking. This is a great way to reduce your expenses and save yourself some money. Some people love the business, premium, or first class experience, but is this actually really necessary for a 3 or 4 hour flight? For some people, yes, absolutely, that's great. But for a family of 4, this was gonna bump our flight costs up by an extra $2,000 each way. So for a 3 to 4 hour flight, it just wasn't worth it for us. That extra $4,000 we could utilize in a much better way and spend it on our accommodation or our activities. So a way to save money on your flights is to book a class that meets your requirements and can be justified to you. My next hack is to reduce your luggage and baggage to be able to book cheaper seats. Traveling with just a carry-on bag can save you a decent chunk of money. Unfortunately for us, traveling with 2 kids, we needed to check some bags in. So we were unable to save money by booking cheaper seats, and we needed to book a seat and bag type fare. But if you're someone that can travel lightly and can only get by with just a carry-on bag, then you can save yourself lots of money in your airfares. We were able to, however, reduce the amount of luggage that we're actually taking, which brings me to my next point. Book your accommodation wisely and pack wisely. With our trip to Fiji that we've just taken, we were able to book accommodation that had a washing machine and a dryer in our room. So every night we were able to keep on top of our laundry while we were there. And then before we arrived back home, before we left our accommodation, we were able to do a big wash the night before we left and have our suitcases packed with all of our fresh clean clothes. So we're able to come back and just unpack everything, put it away. In hindsight, we could actually have packed a lot less than we did take with us due to being able to do our laundry. So do keep this in mind when you're booking your accommodation and see what facilities and amenities are available in your room. If you've got a washing machine and a dryer, or even just a washing machine, you could potentially reduce the amount of luggage that you're taking with you, and in turn reduce the type of airfare that you're traveling with, and only take a carry-on bag. A hot tip here for packing lightly and saving yourself some money is to make sure that you utilize a packing list. This will ensure that you take everything that you need with you. This will also save you some money on having to buy random things that you might have forgotten, like deodorant or sunscreen, for example. On our trip to Fiji, one thing that I didn't pack and really regret not organizing before we went was a beach bag to lug all our stuff down to the pool each day. I was kicking myself when we were in Fiji because I knew that we had a beach bag at home that would have been perfect to use, but we ended up having to buy one while we were there and spent 40 New Zealand dollars on a beach bag. We used it almost every day while we were there, so it was money well spent, but it is also money spent that could have been avoided. So make sure that you use a packing list and check it off as you go. So that's a few ways that you can save money on your flights. Now let's dive into ways that you could save money on your accommodation. Again, by booking in advance, you can secure some significant discounts. Also, don't be scared to shop around and look for a better deal on your accommodation. Compare accommodation options on websites such as booking.com, which shows you a wide range of accommodation all priced at different price points. A little hack we recently used on our trip to Fiji was booking a 1-bedroom room, which also offered a couch in the other room, which folded out into a bed. We were able to fold the couch out for the kids to sleep on, which was great. This also saved us money rather than booking a 2-bedroom place with 4 beds, which was a lot more expensive. My kids are young enough that they could bunk together, so this worked really well for us, although we did all end up just sleeping in the super king size bed most nights. So before booking your accommodation, review what your actual needs are in terms of beds and book accordingly. My next hack on this list with your accommodation is to book somewhere that includes breakfast. This wasn't something that was on offer when we booked our accommodation. However, we were able to add it on as a cheap extra. Some accommodation options offer breakfast included, so keep an eye out for this when you're booking your accommodation. We were also able to add a kids eat free to our accommodation, which was a total money saver. Another hack with your accommodation to save money is to go down a star. Now, what I mean by this is instead of booking a 5-star luxury resort, you could potentially book a 4-star resort, which is generally a little bit cheaper than the 5-star. When booking accommodation, I always take the time to read past customer reviews and make sure that the reviews are up to date as well, so reading more current reviews. Reviews can give you a really good indication if an accommodation option is suitable or not. So those are my top hacks on ways to save money on your accommodation. Now let's look at some ways that you can save money on your activities and your experiences. So first up, booking in advance can have many benefits, such as an early booking discount or a cheaper price on offer. If you're traveling as a group, sometimes booking as a large group for your activities can get you a group discount as well. You can also search in Google for any discount codes for the activities that you're looking to do. You can then apply these discount codes at checkout when you're booking online to save you some money. On our recent trip to Fiji, we looked for options for activities that offered cheaper or free options for our kids. In Fiji, we were able to utilize the transport option that was offered, and it had free travel for the kids. If you've been there, you might have heard of what's called the Bulla bus. My kids absolutely loved traveling on this and thoroughly enjoyed yelling out Bulla to everyone that we went past. Another hack to save money on your activities is to book an all-in-one experience. So an example of this could be where you get to watch a cultural show and also have dinner, for example. Another example could be where they offer you a free transport to your activity as well. So that's a few of my top travel hacks. Hopefully you'll be able to utilize these on your next trip. If you have any of your own travel money saving hacks, please share these with me in the comments, as I would love to incorporate them for my next trip. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.